Young adults are walking into the modern economy completely blind. We ask them to navigate student loans, taxes, and retirement, yet the education system offers zero guidance. As one student put it, "In high school, we are supposed to learn about finance stuff, and my school never taught me anything." In this total knowledge vacuum, young people have to look somewhere for advice, and almost universally, they default to the only source available, their parents. This bar chart from the Spark CI Financial Literacy Survey shows exactly where young adults get their money information. Parents are overwhelmingly the primary source, followed closely by internet searches and social media. Actual professional financial advisors sit at the very bottom of the list. Relying on family means inheriting an outdated financial playbook. The strategies that worked 30 years ago, prioritizing immediate home ownership and financing luxury purchases to project success, simply do not map on today's fragile job market and high cost of living. Trying to hit these traditional, older generation milestones in your 20s creates a trap. You end up strapping on financial handcuffs, entering your 30s with massive liabilities, zero liquid assets, and living exactly one emergency away from being completely broke. The reason a high earner feels completely broke comes down to a concept called lifestyle creep. When your salary goes up, your baseline spending scales up right alongside it. You make more money, but your financial position remains totally stagnant. This happens because of hedonic adaptation. Our brains rapidly adapt to improved circumstances. That premium coffee or luxury apartment you treated yourself to feels special for about a month. Then it just becomes your new normal, locking you into a permanent cycle of elevated spending. Let's say you take a $300 car upgrade. If you invested that same $300 at an 8% return over 25 years, the curve looks like this. That single upgrade costs you $263,000 in lost wealth, money that could have secured your retirement. A higher salary is actually a wealth-building trap if you let social pressure dictate your budget. Unless you consciously override the urge to match the spending habits of your peers, your raise only benefits the companies you buy from. That social pressure is especially heavy when it comes to housing. The middle-class rulebook insists that renting is throwing money away, and that buying a house is a required milestone you must hit as soon as possible. But rushing into a 15 to 20-year mortgage often acts as a financial handcuff. It drains liquid savings for a down payment and ties you to a single geographic location, severely limiting your ability to move for a better job or a higher salary. It leads directly to being house poor. This is a scenario where 40% or more of your monthly income is locked into mortgage payments. You own property, but have zero cash flow left for investing, saving, or surviving a layoff. The math of renting changes once you look at the actual yield. In many markets, the cost to rent is significantly lower than the cost to own. When rental yields sit between 2 and 4%, renting is a more efficient use of capital. Renting offers a specific utility, flexibility. You avoid property taxes, you don't pay for roof repairs, and your capital remains liquid. You can deploy that cash into higher-yielding investments, like the stock market. Home ownership is a legitimate long-term goal, but committing to a massive, illiquid liability prematurely destroys the exact financial flexibility you need to survive in an unpredictable job market. Then there is the urge to buy high-ticket luxury items on credit. Swiping for a state-of-the-art TV or designer clothes feels justified in the moment, but going into debt for non-essential items creates immediate vulnerability. When the bill arrives, or if your income unexpectedly drops, those goods do not generate cash. They become heavy liabilities, dragging down your budget. You protect yourself against that vulnerability with an emergency fund. This cash reserve functions as a shock absorber for your long-term wealth, allowing you to cover a car repair or a medical bill without liquidating the growth assets you need for retirement. Holding cash does mean accepting a low yield that barely beats inflation. That lost growth is the opportunity cost, but it's a necessary price you pay to keep your actual growth assets secure and untouched. Real financial security in your 20s has nothing to do with the physical things you own. It relies entirely on having liquid reserves required to stay invested when a crisis inevitably hits. To build actual security, you have to reframe your definition of wealth. Wealth is having invisible assets. It's the freedom to quit a toxic job or relocate for a better one without panicking, rather than having a luxury car in the driveway and an over-leveraged mortgage. You can build this by using the 10x rule to filter your purchases. It states that you should only upgrade your lifestyle if the cost is less than 10% of your annual salary increase. If you get a $10,000 raise, your new lifestyle expenses for the year cannot exceed $1,000. Combine that with the replacement principle. Before you add a new recurring expense, like a premium streaming package or a software subscription, you must cancel an existing one. This stops passive, unconscious spending creep before it starts. By avoiding lifestyle creep and luxury debt, you reclaim your free time and capital to take calculated risks. You can afford to invest in the stock market or launch a side hustle, turning your talents into extra cash without the constant fear that one mistake will destroy your financial security. The ultimate flex isn't proving to society that you've hit the traditional financial milestones. It's the peace of mind that comes from living below your means, ignoring the illusions, and finally letting your money work for you.